What's up y'all, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be doing a mid-year foundation ranking. We have had a ton of new foundations come out this year. I have picked up quite a few of them, not all of them, but out of the ones that I have picked up, we've had some really good ones and we've had some duds as well. So if you want to see which foundations I tried, how they stack up against each other, and which ones come out on top, then stick around for the rest of the video. Alright, so before we jump into this, I do have a few disclaimers to go over. One, I have not tried every single foundation that has come out this year. That would be impossible for me to do, and frankly, I would go broke doing it anyway. But when I ranked these, I tried to take other things into consideration than just my personal preferences and my skin type. I did look at things like shade range, price, availability, and which foundations are going to work for a wider range of skin types and skin tones. So keep that in mind whenever I go over this, that my absolute favorite foundation may not be the one that came out on top, but I will have all these foundations linked and listed down below in the description box, as well as what I am wearing. I did film this look. You will be seeing this in an upcoming video very soon, but everything that is on my face will be down either in the description box or a pinned comment, depending on if I run out of room or not. But let's go ahead and jump into this. Alright, so at the bottom of our list, coming in at number 20, we have this one from e.l.f. This is the Camo Hydrating CC Cream. Now this claims to be full coverage, long lasting, a dewy finish. It does have an SPF 30 in it, and this is supposed to be duping one of the ones from IT Cosmetics, but this is complete garbage. When I tell you there is no wear time to this at all whatsoever, I'm not kidding you. It immediately starts to break down the minute you put it on your skin, especially if you try and put anything over top of it. It starts to separate, it starts to cling, starts to grab, it settles into lines, emphasizes texture. There is not one good redeeming quality about this foundation except for the fact that it is $15 and it comes in 30 different shades. So yes, it's affordable, yes, it has a decent shade range, but it's not worth it at all. This is complete garbage and I hate it so much. Coming in at number 19, we have the Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. This retails for $40. It does come in 40 different shades. It's supposed to be a matte medium coverage foundation, and I definitely think that it sticks true to all of those. But if you are combo dry, normal, or dry skin, this is not for you. Let me repeat that. This is not for you. If you have mature skin, this is not for you. This is a foundation that is going to cling to every perfection in your skin, even ones that you did not know that you had. I tried every way I possibly could to make this work, and it either looked really good whenever I first put it on, or it looked really good several hours in. But for me, I want my foundation to look good from the minute I put it on to the minute that I take it off at the end of the day. I don't want to have to kind of stop and think about it and finagle how I need my makeup to look throughout the day. So I do think if you have oily skin, you will really like this, but for the rest of us, this was just a miss, and I'm really disappointed in Urban Decay. The Cover FX Radiant Start Tinted Moisturizer. Now this retails for $40. It does come in 8 shades. That is a horrendous shade range, and part of the reason this one is falling where it is. But this is supposed to be a light to medium coverage, and it has a high shine finish. So this is, I don't know, it wore really well, it looked really good on the skin, but I got the lightest one that they had, and this was too dark for my skin. So the shade range, like I said, is atrocious. It doesn't go light enough, it doesn't go dark enough, so it's leaving out a lot of people. And with it being a skin tint, you would think that would be okay, and normally it would be. But like I said, this is a medium coverage foundation. So while it looked beautiful, it wore beautiful, I never wear it because it's way too dark for my skin. And if I use a mixing medium like the one from LA Girl, it just it doesn't work out as well because it is such a high shine skin tint. So as much as I want to love this one and it does wear beautifully, I think if it had a wider shade range, it would be a bigger hit than it is. Coming in at number 17, we have the Beauty Balm from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Now, whenever I reviewed this in a speed reviews, I gave it a horrendous review. I said it was garbage, I hated it, and I'm humble enough to say that I kind of walk that back just a little bit. I still don't think it is a fantastic foundation. It's not one that I love, but I have figured out how to use this, and I wish I had kind of taken a little bit more time to play with it before I speed reviewed it, but you know, you live, you learn. It is what it is. I'm gonna update you on this one now. So first of all, this does retail for $42. It comes in 16 different shades, so it's not the best shade range across the board, but it is very lightweight. It does have a sheer to light coverage, and it's going to give you a my skin but better finish. But let me tell you where I went wrong and how you can fix it if you pick this up or you're looking into it. So first of all, this is not a foundation, and yes, ABH says that, but usually when you look into it, you're like, yeah, duh, it's a skin tint, it's a beauty balm, we know that. But what they mean by that is this is literally a tinted moisturizer. So if you're going to use this, do not put moisturizer on underneath it. And I figured out that's where I was messing up. If you put moisturizer on underneath this, it is going to over moisturize your skin. It's going to freak out. It's going to grab. It's going to separate. It's not going to sink into your skin. This is meant to be used in place of your moisturizer. So this is for the person who is in a hurry, maybe on the go, and they don't like to have that makeup feeling, but they still want a little bit of coverage. So when it comes to that aspect, this is beautiful, but I put this down lower because this is absolutely not for everybody. If you have oily skin, I don't think this is going to work for you. If you have maybe combo oily skin, this might work for you, but this is not a makeup product. This is not meant to have anything on over top of it when it comes to powder products, and it's not meant to have a moisturizer on over it. So it's definitely innovative. I think it's definitely maybe a little bit more than what we bargained for. So while I think it's pretty, again, it's not for everybody. It's not a favorite for me because if I'm going to use this, I really have to stop and think, what am I going to use for my makeup today? Do I need to put on moisturizer? And generally, I'm a creature of habit. I just grab for moisturizer and go. So I don't know how much use this will actually get. And while it's not a favorite, it's not horrible either. Coming in at number 16, we have this one from About Face. This is the Performer Skin Focused Foundation. This does retail for $22. It comes in 45 different shades. Y'all, this goes so extremely light and so dark. It is a beautiful shade range. This is supposed to give a light to medium coverage, and it's supposed to give you more of a skin-like finish. Now, I do stand by the fact that this packaging is very cumbersome. Like, it goes with the aesthetic of the brand, I get it, but it's big, it's clunky, it's heavy, and I still don't like the doe foot in here. It is very hard to get out of here without making a mess. But my biggest qualm with this one is, one, you can build it up to a medium coverage, but when you do that, you start to risk patching and grabbing and it doing kind of funky. So to me, this is more of a light coverage foundation. I don't think it builds up to a medium very well, and the longevity on this foundation just isn't there. After about 8 hours of wear, it starts to break down the skin. So if you're somebody who doesn't mind a light coverage, maybe a more affordable foundation, and you're looking for everything that this has to offer, and you're not looking for anything that is going to go over that 8-hour mark, this is a beautiful foundation. I think it's going to work well for many different skin types. Like I said, the shade range is absolutely fantastic, but for me, I need my foundation to last me at least 10 hours, if not 12 or more, and this one just doesn't do it for me. Number 15, we have the ever viral Polite Society More Than a Pretty Face Foundation. So this one retails for $42. It comes in 30 different shades. The shade range is okay. It could definitely be better. It could go a little bit deeper. This is supposed to be a medium to full coverage, and it's supposed to give a natural finish. I don't know about a natural finish. If you start to build it up to a full coverage, it does start to look a little bit heavier on the skin. It never looks cakey, but it doesn't look very natural on the skin. But it is a very beautiful foundation. Like I said, the shade range is okay, but again, for me, this one comes down to more of a wear time thing. Again, it's not the longest wearing. It wears longer than the one from About Face, but for me, this one starts to break down about the 10-hour mark. So if I'm going to wear this, it needs to be something that maybe I'm going to be taking off earlier in the day. Maybe I'm going to be putting it on later in the morning. I need to make sure that it's something that I'm not going to be wearing for the long haul. So it is a beautiful foundation. I still think it is a little overpriced for what it actually is. The packaging is adorable and it's a good one. So again, just like the About Face, if this has everything that you're looking for in it and you only need up to 10 hours of wear, this is a good option. It's just not a favorite. Coming in at number 14, we have another one that took the internet by storm. This is the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. This is supposed to be duping the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh tint, which is one of my absolute favorite skin tints in my collection. I love that one. And this is a very good alternative, but I have a couple of qualms with it. So first of all, this is a affordable drugstore brand, but it retails for $21.49. So yes, it is way less than the one from Chanel, but for an affordable drugstore brand, it's a little up there in price. It does come in 13 different shades, so it's not a great shade range, but keep in mind this is a skin tint. It is supposed to be very light coverage, very skin-like, so it's going to sheer out quite a bit. So the 13 shades that they have are going to reach across a wider shade range. Now, my issue with this is it can be a little finicky. And what I mean by that is sometimes when I put it on, it looks absolutely beautiful. And sometimes when I put it on, it can be a little streaky. So it depends on the products that you're putting on underneath. It depends on how much hydration. If you use any kind of tacky base, this does not go on very nicely. That is one thing that I have noticed. I have to make sure I have on a base that is very smooth, hydrating, plumping, maybe even pore filling. But if I get into like my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, the e.l.f. Power Grip, that's when it starts to streak on me, and the longevity goes away if I put powder on over top of it. So this is absolutely 100% meant to be worn on its own with maybe some cream products over top. So it is a great alternative for the Chanel. Do not get me wrong. If you have been interested in that, definitely start here. It is way less expensive, but if you want the full experience of the Chanel, this is not going to give that to you. Coming in at number 13, we have this little guy from Ilia. This is the Skin Rewind Complexion Stick. This retails for $48. It does come in 42 different shades, which is a fantastic shade range. We love to see it. This is going to give you a medium coverage, and it's going to give you a natural finish. So this is beautiful. I love the way this looks on my skin. I love the way that it wears. The wear time is there for this one. It lasts on my skin all day, and it's one of my favorite foundation sticks in my collection, with the exception of one that you're going to hear about in just a couple of minutes. But this one I definitely think is targeted more towards dry, mature skin. And what I mean by that, it is going to be very hydrating. It has a lot of skincare anti-aging properties in it. And it's one of those that it's a little bit creamier, and it's not going to settle into lines, wrinkles, crinkles. It's not going to accentuate texture. So if you have maybe, you know, combo dry skin, combo oily, or oily skin, this is going to be a little too much for you. Even me with my normal skin, it can be a little too much at times depending on how I prep my skin. So it is a beautiful one, but again, it's one that, you know, you kind of have to take a little bit of caution with. It's not going to work well for everybody across the board. It's definitely going to be a preference thing. So while I like it, I don't think it's for everybody. At number 12, we have the Natasha Denona High Glam Powder Foundation. Now this one retails for $55, but it is refillable. So when this runs out, you pop it out and you can buy your refill for $39. It comes in 36 different shades, so it has a pretty decent shade range. It's not fantastic, but it's not the worst that we've seen either. It has a medium coverage and a matte finish. Now, I am not a powder foundation girly, but I like to have one in my collection to throw on if I'm in a hurry, throw on like a little bit of extra coverage. Maybe if I have a light foundation that is too light for my skin, I can throw a powder foundation on over top of it. It'll kind of even everything out, bring some color back into my skin. But this one is really nice because it does have a matte finish, but it's also hydrating at the same time. So it's not going to suck the life out of your skin and make it look like the Sahara Desert. So I think it's going to work really well for a lot of different skin types across the board, especially if you use the right skin prep with this. Now it does have a pretty decent wear time. I can get a solid 10 hours out of it. So I have to keep that in mind too whenever I'm wearing it. How long am I going to have it on and all of that. So while I'm not a big fan of powder foundations, I do think that this one is absolutely beautiful. At number 11, we have this one from Xoxo. This is the BB Burst Tinted Gel Cream. This is a beautiful product. It retails for $38. It does come in 24 different shades, so it has a pretty decent shade range, but again, it is going to give you a light coverage and a very natural finish, so you don't need as many shades when you get into more of that light sheer coverage foundation. Now, this is beautiful. It looks beautiful on the skin. It is very long wearing. I love the way that it sets. It is very skin-like, and It doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't look heavy, but it is very hydrating. So if you have oily skin, if you have combo oily skin, you're probably going to want to stay away from this. I really like the packaging. I like that we have this airtight pump, so you're gonna get everything out of it. My issue with this is that since Kosas is a clean brand, there's no preservatives in it, so this is probably going to go off faster than I can use it. So if you're somebody who has multiple foundations in your collection, you don't use the same one every day, keep that in mind. But it is beautiful despite that little flaw right there. I do really love this one, but again, it's not gonna be for everybody. All right, we have reached the top 10 of all these foundations, and let's go ahead and kick it off with the newest release from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint Hydrating Foundation Stick. This does retail for $46 and it comes in 20 different shades, which is actually a really good shade range because this is a skin tint. It's going to give you a sheer to light coverage and it's going to give a soft glow to the skin. So I've seen a lot of people compare this, myself included, to the Hollywood Flawless Filter. And while this absolutely does look like that in the stick, it has a softer glow and it's not quite as heavy on the skin. So I think it's gonna work better for more people. Plus the shade range is a lot better. They're not all as yellowy as those tend to lean. But as much as I love this, this is one of my absolute favorites. It is my new favorite foundation stick. I love the longevity on this. I love the way that it wore, the way that it looked, everything. It's not going to be for everybody, and I completely recognize that. If you don't want a glow to the skin, this is not going to be for you. If you have oily skin, this may not be for you because if it mixes with your natural oils, it might be too much of a glow at the end of the day. So while I absolutely love it and I do think it's beautiful, it's a fantastic release, I 100% recognize that it's not for everybody, but if you're curious about it and this is right up your alley, this is a beautiful foundation stick. Number 9, we have the Dolce & Gabbana Blueberry Nutri-Tint Skin Tint. This one retails for $52. It does come in 30 different shades, which is wildly impressive for a skin tint. This again is going to give you a sheer to light coverage and it's going to have a more skin-like finish. So not completely glowy, but not matte either. This is beautiful. It is very long wearing. It looks gorgeous on the skin. You can absolutely just wear it on its own. You can put powder on over top of it. It is gorgeous. And it's along the same lines as like the Chanel, the Chantecaille, the CoverGirl that we talked about. But when you get to the Chanel and the Chantecaille, this is a more affordable option. And while it's more expensive than the CoverGirl, it's more user-friendly. It's not quite as finicky as the one from CoverGirl. I don't get any streaking issues or anything like that. And I love the packaging. I love how slim this is. This is plastic. This is not very heavy. While it looks beautiful in luxe, it's not overly heavy packaging. And I really, really enjoy this. I think it's a beautiful skin tint. Again, if you're wanting something that kind of gives those Chanel vibes, this is another good affordable alternative. Coming in at number 8, we have this one from Makeup Revolution. This is the Skin Silk Luminous Serum Foundation. Now this is going to retail for $14. It only comes in 20 different shades. We're going to talk about that in a minute. It has a light to medium coverage. To me, it's more on like the light end of medium things than it is on like a true medium, but still light to medium coverage, and it's going to give you a skin-like finish. Now this is supposed to be a fantastic alternative for the one from Laura Mercier, and it is. The finish is there, the longevity is there, it looks beautiful on the skin. I think it's going to work for everybody across the board as far as skin type goes. It is hydrating, but not in like a heavy, oily, greasy way. I love this foundation. It is one of my absolute favorites. But the shade range is atrocious. It is horrible. Makeup Revolution can do better than this, and that's why I'm putting it where I put it. If the shade range had been better, it probably would have been bumped up several spots, maybe even closer to number 3. But for that reason, I have to put it where it is. I struggled with this one. But if you can find your shade in this, it is absolutely gorgeous, and it is a really good alternative to the one from Laura Mercier. At number 7, we have the newest release from Makeup Forever. This is the HD Skin Hydro Glow Foundation. This retails for $47. It does come in 32 different shades, which is a decent shade range, but I feel like Makeup Forever probably could have done better with that, but it is what it is. It does have a medium coverage, and it claims to have a radiant finish. I think it's more of like a satin to natural finish, but you know, it is what it is. It's not a matte finish is what I'm getting at. This is very long wearing. It is beautiful on the skin. I really do love this foundation, but it is hydrating and it is very hydrating. So if you have oily skin, this is probably going to be too much and too heavy for your skin. So I would recommend going for the original HD Skin Foundation. I did get a little sample of that one time a while back and it was too drying for my skin. So that one's going to be beautiful, but I do really love this. I love the finish on it. I love the longevity of it. It just looks beautiful all around. But again, like I said, I had to get picky with these because this isn't just about me. This is about you, and this is not going to work for everybody. Coming in at number 6, we have the Christian Louboutin Foundation. This bad boy retails for $77. Yeah, that's a lot. But it comes in 30 different shades. The shade range is weird. There's a lot of light shades and then there's like this huge shade gap and it jumps around. So not the best shade range at all. It is a very full coverage foundation and it claims to be a matte finish. I think it's more like a soft matte, maybe even teetering on skin like. It's not a true matte finish, but it is very beautiful. It is very long wearing, but I don't think this is going to be the best option for dry, mature skin. I have to really prep my skin good in order to wear this. It does look beautiful. I love it. I will absolutely get my money's worth out of it, but just kind of keep that in mind. So if you do have more oily skin, this is beautiful. Do I think you need to go out and spend $77 on a foundation? Absolutely not. This is not me telling you you need to spend $77 on a foundation, but if you want to spend that on a foundation, this is beautiful and I don't think you'd be disappointed. All right, y'all, so we are at the top 5. Let's go ahead and kick this off with the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Niacinamide Skin Tint. This one retails for $8.99. We are under that $10 mark. We love to see it. It does come in 27 different shades, so it's not the best shade range in the world, but it's also not a horrible shade range either. It does have a sheer to medium coverage, and I think that 100% stands by that claim. It has a natural finish with a soft glow to it. Again, I definitely agree with that as well. This is very long wearing. It looks beautiful on the skin, but again, this is hydrating. It's not so hydrating that I think if you have oily skin, you're not gonna be able to use it. But if you don't like to have a beautiful glow by the end of the day, this might be too much for you. So that's kind of why I put this where I put it, because I do love it. I think it's gonna work great for all skin types. But, you know, kind of use your discretion, go with your preferences and all of that. Keep that in mind whenever you buy this, but for $8.99, you absolutely cannot beat this. I am not a big fan of the dropper application style, but like I said, we can't be picky when we get under 10 bucks. It is a struggle out there. Things are getting expensive and we're gonna roll with it. But this one is beautiful and I absolutely love it. All right, my top 4 kind of rearranged a lot. I went back and forth because I love all 4 of these equally. They're all favorites in my collection. But starting with number 4, we have the ever viral Tear Mask Red Fit Cushion Foundation. This retails for $25. It is refillable, so whenever you finish it, you can pop out the foundation and get a retail for about $16. Again, the price varies, but it does come in 30 different shades, but the brand did just announce that they are expanding that shade range even more. I absolutely love it. So right now it's not the best, but they are expanding and we love it. This is a full coverage foundation, but it's going to give you a skin-like finish, which is 100% completely unheard of. It is wild how light this is while having maximum coverage. This looks beautiful on the skin. It covers everything, all of your flaws, all of your sins, all of your mistakes, everything, but you still look very natural doing it. This is a fantastic one. It is very long wearing, very lightweight. I think it's gonna work fantastic for everybody, every age, every skin, every color, all of it. This is a favorite, and the reason that it's coming in at number 4 is because I don't always want a full beat. Even though it's lightweight, even though it looks very natural, sometimes I like to have a little bit of my redness, my freckles, things like that peering through, but this is beautiful. I love it. It is worth the hype. I love the price point. I love the packaging, and I love that they're still expanding the shade range. Coming in at number 3 is the Prada Reveal Foundation. This one retails for $70, but it is refillable. So when you run out, you just repurchase this little guy right here, which is $55. It does come in 33 different shades, and it's not the best shade range. It doesn't go super deep, which is why it's falling where it is, because for me, this is my absolute favorite foundation of the year. I still stand by that. I have raved about it since I got it. It is absolutely beautiful. This is going to give a medium coverage with a matte finish, but to me, I think it's more of a soft matte finish. It is very long wearing. It just looks beautiful on the skin. I don't know what they put in this, but it just kind of softens and blurs and just makes everything look absolutely beautiful. I wouldn't say it's as like skin-like as some of the others, but it doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look cakey. It definitely looks like you have a foundation on, but in the most beautiful way possible. If they would expand the shade range of this would have absolutely been number one. And for me, it still is, but like I said, because of the shade range, that's why I had to knock it down to number 3. All right, so we have come to our final 2 foundations of this ranking. Have you figured out which 2 they are? If you have, let me know down in that comment section. But coming in at number 2 is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This retails for $8, so we're coming in under that $10 price point. We love to see it. This comes in 36 different shades, so not the best shade range in the whole world, but it's definitely a vast improvement compared to the one that we talked about at the beginning of this video. This is going to give you a medium coverage and a satin finish, and I think that 100% stands by all of those claims. This is absolutely beautiful. This is long wearing. It doesn't break down. It doesn't come apart. I did an all-day wear test with this in our hot, humid Texas heat, and it didn't budge. It looked beautiful from the moment I put it on to the moment that I took it off at the end of the day. It didn't settle. It didn't emphasize texture, lines, anything like that. This is beautiful, and I love this foundation. So you're probably wondering, if I love it so much, why is it coming in at number 2? Well, I'm gonna tell you why it's coming in at number 2, and that is because Miss Fenty Beauty came out and gave us 50 shades in her foundation. That is wild. That is the biggest shade range that we have seen in all of these foundations that we've talked about, and we've talked about 20 different foundations. I'm tired. I'm starting to trip over my words a little bit, but let's chat about number 1 really quick. So this is the Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Luminous Foundation. This is going to retail for $40. Like I said, it comes in 50 different shades, so something for everybody. We love that. It's going to give you a medium coverage, and it's going to give you a natural finish. This is very long wearing. Again, I wore this all day. I didn't have any issues. It held up to our Texas heat and humidity. It didn't break down. It didn't come apart. It didn't settle. It didn't emphasize. It looks beautiful across the board, and these 2 were neck and neck, but again, the shade range is what did it. I think this is beautiful. I think it's gonna work for all ages, colors, skin types, everything. I love this. It may not be my absolute number 1 foundation, but again, this is more for you than it is for me. I know what I love, and I want to help y'all find that perfect foundation, and I think this could absolutely be it. So this is going to be really hard to beat. We'll see what happens over the next 6 months of the year, but 50 shades, long wearing, great across the board. That's a tough one to beat, but this is what's going to be number 1. Fenty Beauty did it, and this is a gorgeous foundation. But that's going to complete this video, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to take something out of this and look at this more as like a foundation guide to kind of help you make your buying decisions, what to stay away from, what to kind of go towards. But I want to hear from y'all. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Is there a foundation that you've tried this year that came out that you love? Let me know all of your thoughts, comments down below in that comment section. Let's light it up, have that conversation. And as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me, and if you love this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.